Hello, welcome back to this best of three series between NFG in green and OHBOY in red. NFG the Asia third place and OHBOY the EU twos, and it is 1-0 to OHBOY, and SeaRaptor is with me and he has the green team's lineups.
Absolutely. Taking a look to see what changes NFG has made in between games. Coming to the dance with a couple of Kremlins, fronted by Des Moines, Venezia, Moskva, and Stalingrad. A nice variety and mix of cruisers there. And in front of them, they seem to have taken a page out of OHBOY's playbook, putting up gearing and double Marceau.
Down the other end of the map, we have OHBOY bringing Bourgogne, Slava, which is a very interesting pick. We actually saw that last weekend. Des Moines, Hindenburg, again a very interesting pick. Venezia, Stalingrad, gearing, and again with the double Marceaus. The difference here is that OHBOY are sending the double Marceaus together, but I see that NFG are sending the Marceaus in opposite directions. Yeah, to B and C.
They are indeed. Now, Stats, you say you've seen Slava. This is not a ship that I saw at any point during the NA bracket. So did you see OHBOY fielding this ship or a different team on EU?
I think it was, yeah, and it was the same position as well. I'm pretty sure, I might be wrong, I think it was OHBOY, but it was definitely the same position. And I honestly don't remember it being... It wasn't ineffective. I don't remember it being, like, super devastating. But it does have that possibility, sitting in the middle like this, looking over at those broadsiding cruisers, the Venezia and the Moskva currently. It does have the ability, if they are spotted, to do significant damage to those ships if it can land the shells. But on the flip side, Slava's armor scheme doesn't really lend itself to bow tanking like you would do maybe normally in a battleship in King of the Sea. So it has to be very careful how it comes under focus fire. So it's a very interesting pick for sure.
A lot of early hate here. OHBOY taking lots of long-range shots at Kozue's Moskva here as he tries to make his way down the 1 and 2 line towards the A cap. He's taking some damage, nothing catastrophic, but they've definitely been focusing him hard early here.
And that's the interesting thing about that Slava position, and the Stalingrad as well, because obviously that has decent range on it and very good AP, is that it's not just the potential damage, it's just the psychological threat. So Kozue does not want to take that fire, and so has had to turn a long way out.
Indeed.
And maybe into a position that they didn't actually want this Moskva to be in.
Now, we don't talk about this a whole lot in King of the Sea, but what's allowing them to do that is Pink Camouflage's incredibly aggressive Marceau position at the bottom end of B, and they're just using him as a forward spotter.
Yeah, and he's paying for it. So that was some
he is now.
SAP from Venezia, which is super effective against destroyers, especially if they're slightly turned in. So Pink Camouflage is going to have to be very careful being spotted there by Yukizuki. Marceau...
Camo does... Go ahead.
He's going to go into B, so that was originally capped by Yukizuki, and so now Pink Camouflage will flip that back to OHBOY's favor, because NFG currently ahead on points because of that initial cap.
Indeed, NFG moved out to a small early cap. They backed B very quickly, then pulled their Marceau back. Now Pink Camouflage's Marceau into the bottom end of B doing his work, as the other Marceau from YoBoy, that's Marcelo Pello, has grabbed A very handily, and not really money, but contesting him down there. It's noteworthy to me that NFG started sending 5 ships to A, Stats, and yet here we are. They seem to be turning around like they're going to surrender this cap completely.
Yeah, so although on the map it looks like it's 3v5, it's actually not, because you've got that Slava and the Stalingrad position, like I was saying before, and they are supporting A. So actually, really, it's a bit more even than it looks, I think. And this crossfire position, where you've got these wide positions from OHBOY between the Bourgogne and the Venezia and the Stalingrad here, allows them to get cross shots into those NFG positions, and that's very, very dangerous if you're the Moskva or the Venezia.
OHBOY on all the caps now, picking up B, solidly in control of A, will soon be on control of C as they're rotating. The Slava originally came in and was down here kind of paired up with the Stalingrad, looking for shots across the 1-2 line at those cruisers, has now turned around, moved up into this gap along the edge of the B cap, and now he's kind of looking for other shots to the north.
Yeah, indeed, and it's the Kremlin and the Des Moines of NFG that he's probably looking for. Des Des Moines currently trying to get to that top corner island to maybe make a push around. Doing that is... It's a bit of a two-sided coin because it does give you potentially good control of Charlie, but the flip side is that you are way out of the battle. You can't really even support Bravo Cap. And as you're seeing right here, it's kind of dangerous to get to because you've got to cross this little gap. And potentially you're going to be spotted going in there.
5 minutes gone. It's all coming up OHBOY at the moment. They own all the caps, although C is contested. And what's noteworthy to me is I look at things from the KFG sorry.
NFG?
NFG perspective, thank you. Their vision is really not very good right now. The only ship that they can see is Young Shacker's Venezia way down at the A cap. Every other OHBOY ship is invisible. Like their spotting is just not very good at the moment. They're having to push Kiryu's gearing back up closer to the A just to keep any vision on the OHBOY ships down at that cap.
Indeed. Let me just, while there's not a huge amount of action going on, let me just very quickly explain the training room spectator mode. So currently most of the time I'm spending in this mode, which enables me to see everything, so you can see everything, but I can actually switch it between, say, the green team's point of view and the red team's point of view, and I will do that occasionally. But just bear in mind that most of the time, although you are seeing all the ships, the teams can't see all the ships. So just bear that in mind as you're watching things happening. Okay, Stalingrad of Mizukaze is just reversing, taking a little bit of fire there from Horny Wookie. That Hindenburg HE will add up over time if you are the Stalingrad, and of course Stalingrad now cannot run fire prevention with the commander skill rework, so those fires stick much worse than they did before, so you have to be a little bit more careful with these heavy cruisers sitting against these islands.
Yukizuki's Marceau crash diving the Caldera Island here in the middle of B. Feels like a desperation play here from NFG a bit as they're down over 250 points here. He doesn't really have any support, although they are turning the Kremlin kind of into the cap behind him.
Yeah, the Kremlin is pushing into B. Their other Kremlin has just gone around the corner with the Des Moines. They're trying to block all three caps. They've got the gearing reversing into the A cap to try and stop all the points, which they have actually managed to do just about once that gearing gets in. But Hartka here is in trouble. Lots of shells incoming. There's some torps coming as well. Hartka would really like to get to the island, but I don't think that's going to be possible. As he turns left, Des Moines is going to get some lovely AP if that torpedo doesn't kill him, which it did. So Kremlin is going to be pushing alone here.
First blood going to OHBOY here, way up at the top end of the map, along the 10 line, really.
And Oka, let's call him Oka. Oka is going to push up to the island here and nose off against Horny Wookie, who's started to kite away. This Kremlin, although it has the Marceau in support and potentially the Stalingrad over in the middle of the map, I suspect they're actually going to find it quite difficult to hang on to Charlie here.
9 minutes gone. NFG kind of on the back foot here, making some aggressive plays, sort of been pushed into it, upside down over 300 points, but at the moment they are ticking up C, and they are the only ones gaining points. Now, a little bit unlike last game, it feels like they're trading a little better. The health between the two teams is actually fairly even. They've done a better job of focus firing some of the OHBOY ships as they can spot them from time to time, certainly down at the A cap, which in my mind, with that Moskva and that Venezia down there, Marcelo Pello has to be a little careful, because that's probably the one place they have a really good opportunity to bag a kill.
Torps here heading towards Yukizuki in the Marceau. I don't think the first set are going to strike. The second set is going to be close. No, he's okay. He's right hand down. Going to be reversing just fine out of that, but taking quite a lot of damage traded with pink camouflage there. Yeah, NFG have responded much better this time to OHBOY's map control. They've actually managed to grab Charlie back. They're actually blocking Bravo and Alpha right now. But how long can they hang on to it? That's the question.
NFG is also doing something really smart at A. They're taking advantage of the total and complete lack of OHBOY radar at this cap, as Kiryu's has laid out a really nice smoke screen for the Venezia and the Moskva to work from behind. They're spotted now from the middle of the map, but if they were to duck in there, they'd have nice cover for a bit.
Okay, Venezia SAP, I think that was out against the Bourgogne. Little chunk there. Bourgogne actually lost a lot of health early in the match and has managed to stay around about 30-40k for the duration. Venezia just hiding behind the smoke screen, but don't forget these big cruisers have very long, very big smoke blooms. So as this Venezia fires inside the smoke, it's probably spotted by that Marceau.
OHBOY's Moskva moving up aggressively with his radar active, trying to catch Marcelo and get some damage into him. Venezia SAP went down range, didn't get a whole lot. At a minimum, they're going to push him off the cap, at least for a time.
And NFG actually beginning to catch up on points, but it's a long lead to catch up. They've got to catch up 200 points. They do not have the ship advantage with one ship down, but it's still reasonably close, actually. When you look at the map control, I would say right now NFG actually have better map control.
At the moment, I would agree with you. They've sort of pushed up. They solidly are sitting in B. In fact, there they go. They capped B, and they're at least denying A at the moment. So we're going to start narrowing that gap a little closer. 8.5 minutes to play here in game 2.
Okay, there's an interesting situation brewing up at Charlie. We've got the Kremlin and the Marceau of NFG pushing on Totally Balanced Des Moines and Enden's gearing. Enden is coming round to potentially throw torps through that gap. Probably not going to be quick enough to catch the Marceau, but the Kremlin is slowed down. Gearing's going to get torps out against Aqua. Will Aqua torp the gearing, or will he continue with the rush as planned? Oh, Aqua choosing to turn in there. I think perhaps the caller might have preferred Aqua to actually continue and do the rush, but they do take the gearing down. Does gearing trade? No.
It does not.
Will NFG get the ram off here?
Now he needs to go for the ram. Is he going to get it? He doesn't.
Slava.
The Slava seals the deal, and now the Marceau. This is Aqua's got to try and get his port torpedoes into the game.
I think Totally Balanced actually would have managed to avoid the ram anyway, so lovely little play there from OHBOY. Marceau throwing torpedoes over towards Totally Balanced. More AP coming in cross map.
Big Stalingrad hit from the middle of the board on Totally Balanced. I think Totally's going to take one of these in the stern.
I think he's okay.
No, he manages to not do it. Aqua
Running
having
a
to rely
heel.
on his stern turrets.
I'm also in the background trying to keep an eye on Mizukaze and Eternal Titan, who are nose to nose around that corner. Aqua goes down. AP on Totally Balanced, he's fine.
Oh my.
OHBOY now will have control over Charlie once they turn Totally Balanced around. Also, while that was going on, Eternal Titan versus the Stalingrad. I'm not sure who actually took out the Stalingrad, but the Stalingrad is now a burning Hulk. So OHBOY winning that little standoff as well. Okay, so 3 green caps, but not many ships to control them. So let's see how OHBOY take this.
3 green caps, but not for very long. OHBOY down 3 ships, 6 minutes to play as Eternal Titan Slava is now going to be turning into the top end of the B cap. That's going to make life very uncomfortable for NFG's Kremlin there, as well as Yukizuki's Marceau. I'm having a look here to see who NFG can spot at the moment. They can see the Slava. They can see Pod Stalingrad. Oh my god, what a hit on the Kremlin.
Yeah, this Kremlin's in a very difficult position. It had to choose who to nose into, basically, and was between a rock and a hard place.
No.
So both of those ships going down very quickly.
Yep. All over but the crying here. NFG simply doesn't have the forces left on the board to maintain this game. I really liked their aggressive push into all the caps stats, but OHBOY bent a little bit, did lose some ships. I think, for me, the decisive play was the gearing torps on the Kremlin way up at sea, because taking that ship out, if you allow him to come around the corner and punch out the Des Moines, now they have a nice commanding position on that flank, and you're in trouble. But they managed to punch him out, with the gear, well-timed gearing torps, and that push ended.
And the thing with these diagonal maps is that they are very long. I mean, if you imagine turning those caps horizontal so that they're all in a row, it's going to go off the ends of the map, and that just shows like how big these maps are. And it takes a long time. If you take one of these end caps, it takes a very long time for the other team to actually react and move and take it if they can. And so if you manage to take, say, like where Totally Balanced is right now in the Des Moines, if you manage to take that sea cap, it's going to be very difficult for the other team to actually redeploy their destroyers, their cruisers, their battleships, and go and take it back. Okay, Puyuka is just kiting on the border here. This tactic you'll quite often see used. I mean, it's fair, to be honest, because both teams are able to do it. But it's certainly annoying when you're trying to shoot someone who is doing this, but in competitive, this is totally normal, totally fine. And both teams will take the opportunity to use the border to their advantage. It is a level playing field in that sense. So, as you said, not much left to do here. 2 minutes 24 on the points clock, 3 minutes 45 on the game clock. There is a possibility that the gearing in the Venezia can do something, although the gearing is heading towards these torpedoes. Nope, they stop. That's Kiryu is safe. Kiryu throwing torpedoes into the gap.
2 minutes on the timer. Pricks to be fairly well over here. NFG only has 2 ships left to defend the entire board. Down 4 ships. They just don't have the firepower. So you can start to see, I mean, you know, OHBOY at this point kind of in cleanup mode, but not wanting to take too many risks. I mean, they do have a couple of low ships there. That's Max's Burgonia, Pink Camouflage's Marceau, that did a really, really good job holding at A and not managing to not get dead. You can see now the Slava and then Podnike's Stalingrad from the middle of the board kind of starting to turn south. But in the end,
what's really interesting is watching these teams, the very, very, very experienced, skillful teams. You'll notice that they're not just blob pushing the A cap. They're just sitting there. They're just sitting on the 2 caps. They don't need to push into these 2 ships and risk taking torpedoes, risk any kind of accidents happening. They're just sitting where they can shoot, waiting for the gearing in the Venezia to appear so they can shoot them from all angles. The sign of a very, very experienced team, I think.
Puyuka spotted briefly here, a Slava salvo coming in. This might actually be the Slava's chance to really, really hurt this guy. And he does. At least one good Citadel in there.
Venezia, very, very difficult to Citadel, but Slava from that range can definitely do it. Venezia down to 2-4, smoking. They are not giving up. The Venezia is smoking to conceal itself.
Nope. Kudos to good NFG for not just surrendering at this stage. But
okay, there we go.
Points are up, and there it is.
So I think the first match we saw was pretty much decisively OHBOY's. In that match, I would say that NFG put up a much better fight. They responded very well to OHBOY's initial control of the caps by pushing back into all 3. But ultimately, NFG couldn't quite hold on to it with the ships that they had. And after a nice exchange at Charlie, OHBOY taking that 2-0. And I believe SeaRaptor, they'll go on to face SCCC, is that correct?
That is correct. OHBOY with a 2-0 win earns the right to face North American champion SCCC in the next round. I believe we'll be showing that match a little later in the cast. But for now, let's head back to the studio, back over to Chris and crew.